Hello and welcome to the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Darshan Mehta. Good morning, Agam.
Good morning, Darshan. I'm Agam Akhil, the top headlines of this hour. Markets continue to remain volatile at the start of the expiry week. The Nifty trades below 11,000. Housing finance companies continue to lead the losses. Barring Divan Housing Finance, which has been seen a rebound, there is no respite for housing finance companies otherwise. Most of them continue to trade with sharp cuts. An open interest has surged in Repco Home Finance and Divan Housing Finance. Repco has added fresh shorts. Long positions are seen in Divan Housing Finance. And Tata Steel will be acquiring the steel business of Usha Martin for 4,300 to 4,700 crore rupees. The stock has seen a muted reaction.
Okay. Let's take a look at what the F&O markets are indicating at this point of time. The Nifty, no doubt, is seeing fresh short positions in open interest. If you're looking at what's happening, the Nifty open interest build-up is flat in trade, but nevertheless, there were fresh short positions that are being taken. The Bank Nifty is seeing open interest build-up of 10%, that too on the short side. So there is enough weakness that's clearly there. Now, it's interesting to see where the open interest build-up is happening and where the total open interest is there. So today, if you're looking at it, call writers have started writing in from levels of 11,200 to high levels. Put writers today are aggressive at the 11,000 level. So 11,000 is now too big to fail. If 11,000 is broken, there could be serious selling that could come in. Pull up where the total open interest build-up is there. And this is a chart that's very interesting. Now, if you're looking at what's happening at the big red line on the 11,000, that's the 11,000 put. That is where the open interest build-up is 44 lakh shares. Remember, we're just 100 points away from it. So if Nifty manages to go below 11,000 level, there will be high amount of unwinding that will happen. Now, if you're looking at levels of 11,100, 11,200, 11,300, put writers are aggressive. They still have positions with the Nifty below that level or pretty much at that level. So any more movement on the lower side or this level will indicate that there will be more selling, and open interest build up there is anywhere about 20 lakh shares. So the market currently is on tender hooks. If 11,100 is broken, there will be selling, and if 11,000 is clearly broken, there will be lots of selling that probably will come in. Agam, on the future side?
Right. Well, Darshan, we do have something like a power grid which shows up on the list. It really isn't doing too much in terms of its underlying. It is declining by less than 1%, but there's 21% increase in open interest. Divan Housing, as we've spoken about, is seeing a little bit of rebound with the longs on an intraday basis building up. Capital First, along with Repco Home Finance and a lot of other NBFCs, not just housing finance companies, but a lot of other NBFCs are losing out in trade and with fresh shots building in. Repco Home and Indiabulls Housing Finance is also in the picture out there, as you can see. Well, we're going to keep an eye on all these counters as we move into trade today. Are we looking at substantial unwinding? BHEL perhaps stands out here. It's seeing, well, near 7% unwinding coming through with longs unwinding. But do remember the September futures. We are expecting to see unwinding in the September futures, considering we are heading into expiry. But on the whole, well, at least in today's day of trade, we're watching out for BHEL, Power Grid, and a whole host of finance companies. But Darshan, what else are we tracking in terms of trends in the markets? Right
so I have three stocks that I have identified, which I want to bring up for our viewers. The first stock I want to talk about is Bajaj Finance. Now, the all-time high on the spot is 2,995. It didn't hit the 3,000 level. It's down almost more than 23%, probably with the selling that has intensified. The fall will be 25%. Open interest build-up is 5%, and fresh short positions are taken. Remember, one of the most expensive NBFCs, high institutional, holding on this counter. This continues to be under pressure. Probably the rally has been very, very swift. So Bajaj Finance can be on the weaker side, can be watched out for. The trend certainly seems to be on the downside. The other counter, which probably can move on either side, but the trend could be on the positive side is Vedanta. Now, the Nifty metal index is on an uptrend. Base metals across the LME in China have rallied. Now, Vedanta has exposure to zinc as well as aluminium as well as copper. All these three base metals of late have been doing well in trade. So there is a bit of short covering that will come in. So in a market where there is more downside, Vedanta certainly at this point of time looks stable in trade today. It's up over 1.5% in trade. And the last stock I want to point out is Reliance Capital. Now, ADAG were taken to the cleaners last week. It's down for the 5th straight session. And in the past, from the recent highs, the counter is down almost 30%. Fresh short positions are being taken on decent open interest build-up. It's up 2%. Almost 9 million shares have been traded. The counter is down 5%. So ADAG as a pack looks weak. And Reliance Capital having exposure to an NBFC, which certainly is moved out of the flavor, certainly looks weak. So these are the three stocks, Agam, I feel that our viewers should watch out for. What are you watching out for?
Right. So Darshan, I'm going to start with BPCL because that's one stock which has stood out. It's bucked the trend over the last few days. It's gained 13% in the last 6 sessions, advancing in the last 5 of the 6 sessions, and we're seeing more longs building into BPCL at this point in time. Of course, this is largely to a certain extent to do with the kind of gains that we've seen in crude as well. The second stock that I want to talk about is Infibeam. Infibeam took a massive hit last Friday along with the rest of the mid-cap space. In fact, Infibeam at one point in time was down 20-25%. It was below its 150 daily moving average. It recovered to move back above the mark of the 100 daily moving average at one point in time, and today it's advancing. At 200 rupees per share, it has gained nearly 30% odd from the levels of around 150. So we're watching out for this. This is an extremely volatile counter. We're going to have to be very careful. For traders, going to have to be very careful when it comes to this one. And the last one is Wipro. Wipro's had a really good run over the course of the month. Of course, largely on account of the large deal win, and it's the top Nifty gainer this month so far. And we're looking at more longs building in. So watch out for Wipro as well. And there has been an increase in open interest towards longs. So as we move into the results season, which should start in a couple of weeks properly, we'll wait and watch whether or not we can see that improvement show up in Wipro. But Wipro is also another one of these stocks that we kept in mind. So some gainers coming in.
Okay, so before we move, I just wanted to point out a couple of stocks. So look at Bajaj Finance, down 7%. Never seen such amount of massive selling that we've seen in Bajaj Finance. High open interest build-up, and this counter has certainly gone to the cleaners. Pull up Bajaj Finserv also. I don't know whether the move is reflected on that counter also. So Bajaj Finserv is down 2.5%. Dewan Housing has fallen from the highs of the day. It was down up almost 20%. It's come off significantly. 400 is a very crucial level for Dewan Housing. If it manages to stay below 400 level, there could be accelerated shorting that could happen on Dewan Housing Finance. So these are the 2-3 counters that I wanted to point out in trade.
Well, in case of Bajaj Finance specifically, it went up to the levels of 3,000 at one point in time. I remember when it had announced its 4th quarter numbers in May, it was exactly around 2,200, 2,300. Since then, it had moved up to the level of 3,000, and it's back right now on account of weakness in the entire NBFC space. And well, there you have it. It's down 8% now. So comfortably below the mark of 2,200. Is it going further below? Let's wait and watch. But for now, substantial weakness. But that's as far as the stocks that we are covering today. Then, before we get our guests on the show, here's a reminder that if you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us now on 02245404141, or of course write to us on Twitter, Facebook with the AskPQ hashtag. With that, let's welcome in our experts for the day. We have Amar Singh of Angel Broking and Chandan Taparia of Motilal Oswal Securities joining us on the show. Good morning to both of you, and thanks so much for joining us. Chandan, coming to you, starting off with you, what do you make of the benchmark indices? How are you reading the underlying cues here?
Market has been making a lower top, lower bottom formation, and every small bounce back is being sold. On last trading session, it broken the major support of 11,171. That was the previous swing high made earlier. And today exactly it failed to surpass 11,171, and that's why again selling pressure is intact in the market. So till 11,171 is not surpassed, overall trend could remain weak, which may take it to 11,000 or 10,929 kind of level. So I'll continue to be on the put side till 11,171 is not surpassed in the market. Looking at the volatility index, that jumped by around 25% in this month. It is up by around 12 to 13%. VIX is at 7 months high level. We have seen decline in the put call ratio near to 1.10, that is lowest level since last many months. So declining put call ratio with rising volatility and the shift of the resistance to lower zone indicates some more weakness could be seen. So suggestion will be buy 11,100 put or buy 11,050 put. Already this put has spiked, but I'll again continue to be with 11,100 put and expecting it to move towards 120, 125 levels.
Okay, what about strategies, Chandan?
Yes, in Nifty or Bank Nifty will continue to remain on the weak side. As I said, we'll continue to be with 11,100 put. Talking about the stocks, some contra trade, those who are looking for some bottom pushing. We have seen some positive sign in selective FMCG, IT and oil and gas counter. So one can continue to be with the same. TCS, the stock is holding the gains even after the market pressure. It is respecting to its rising support trend line. So one can look at buy on decline with a stop loss of 2070 for an upward towards 2160, 2170 level. Reliance one can look at, as we have seen buying interest in entire oil and gas spaces, including Oil India, ONGC, GAIL, BPCL, Reliance. And comparatively, this stock is resilience. And if market has to respect the support zone, then Reliance will continue to help the market. So one can look at buying with a stop loss of 1190 for an upward towards 1270. Negative side, we have negative view on most of the PSU bank, including PNB, Union Bank and all, and NBFC are likely to be under pressure in the market.
Okay, Amar, good morning to you as well. Let's talk about your view on the indices first. What do you make of them and how would you approach these indices right now?
Yeah, I would say that overall, if you look at the indices from a technical perspective, they continue to remain weak, and the intensity of the fall, what we've seen, has increased significantly. So today also we are seeing a similar movement. So any pullback is being used as a shorting opportunity, and also if you look at the technical indicators, most of them are clearly showing the increase in intensity of the sell-off. So yes, any pullback can be used as a shorting opportunity. As far as options are concerned, for Nifty, 11,100 put option, that one can look at buying. Currently it's around 105, 106 levels. Any pullback towards 95, 96, that could be a good level to buy for the option. And as far as the levels are concerned, what we see is that on the upside, Nifty would find it extremely difficult to trade consistently above 11,230, 250 zone. Whereas on the downside, the low that we witnessed on Friday, that's going to act as a crucial, I would say, support. That's very key, 10,866. So somewhere Nifty could consolidate, but higher levels would meet with selling pressure in the indices as far as the indices are concerned.
Okay, Amar, so how would you, approach stocks then? What ideas are you betting on today's day of trade?
Yeah, there are two ideas which I have. One is on the short, one is on the long. From the short side, it's a PSU Bank, Bank of Baroda. What we're seeing in Bank of Baroda is that technically the stock continues to remain weak, and overall there is selling pressure. If I look across different time frames, the stock remains weak. So it's currently around 109 levels. So any pullback towards 110, 112, that can be used to initiate a short position with a stop loss of 116 and a target of 99 on the downside. And the second stock to look at is ONGC. But ONGC is on the buy side because this is one stock. If you look at the charts of the stock, they clearly reflect that there is upside momentum in this stock. The stock has been able to hold firm. And if you look at it for the last, from almost 12th of September, the stock has been on an up move from a low of 166. Currently, it's around 184. So technically, the stock continues to be extremely strong on the charts. So any dip in the stock correction towards 179, 180, ideally that's a good level to go long with a stop loss of 175.4 and a target of 187 on the upside.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the stocks that are buzzing, and we'll get in our guests to answer what's happening. Bajaj Finance is below the 2200 level. It's down almost 8% in today's trade. Chandan, Bajaj Finance, is the bottom near, or is there more shorting possible on the counter?
See, the stock is continuously making low top, low bottom formation, and after a long time on the monthly scale, it has seen the strong bearish candle. It has slipped below its 50-day exponential moving average, And it used to be one of the strongest counter, but now in recent the stock witnessed a significant build-up of short position. So I think some more round of selling could be seen. Let it decline towards 2100, 2150. I think near to those zone, it may find bottom. But I'll buy only if it sustains about 2400 zone. So as of now, weakness could continue. We may see further decline in the counter.
Okay, Chandan, since we have a query on Bajaj Finance, could you also, offer your views on something like a Diwan Housing Finance and perhaps a Bajaj Finserv? We have a query on Rahul Kamdar on Twitter, and he wants to get an idea, and he actually wants to know what is a better buy, what is a more safer buy among the smaller NBFCs. I'm just going to stick the two, Bajaj Finserv and Diwan Housing at this point in time. What is your view here?
See, first looking at the broader market, if Nifty surpasses immediate hurdle of 11,171 zone, then only some stability could be seen. We have seen sharp selling in most of the NBFC counter, and we have not seen major recovery comparatively if I not talk about the DHFL. First, talking about the Bajaj Finance or Diwan Housing Finance, the stock fell down sharply, and Diwan Housing Finance retested the previous swing highs. That was near to 250 zone, 270 zone. And on last trading session, it made low near to 275. So I think some recovery could be seen. But again, this is not for the future trading because the stock is likely to remain volatile. The implied volatility of the stock is such. But yes, if someone is looking for delivery, he can gradually accumulate the counter. I think now 350, 335 is likely to act as a support, and stock can move to us 450 to 475. Positional view is concerned. I'm not talking about the future position here. So I think one can grab the Diwan Housing Finance as already it has seen a sharp selling pressure and gone into the deep oversold territory. So on positional basis, some recovery could be seen in the counter. Looking at the Bajaj Finance, I'll wait for some meaningful bottom, 2150, 70, let it to hold those zones. Then only we can understand the view on the counter.
Okay, Motherson Sumi is another counter which is down 6% currently. A lot of trouble here. So it's down on very low open interest build up as of now. But Amar, what should one do on Motherson Sumi? It's down 6%. Is there more selling pressure that could come in, or would someone accumulate at these levels?
I would say looking at Motherson Sumi, what we are seeing is that the stock has breached its crucial support zone somewhere around 270. That was a crucial support zone. And if you look at it technically, that the trend remains extremely, I would say, bearish for this stock. And even on the very long-term charts, crucial support zones, which I talked about, that has been taken out, 270, 280. That was a very strong support zone. So that has been taken out. And even from a short-term perspective, the stock looks extremely negative, but it is moving in oversold territory. So I would say that rather one should wait for the stock to consolidate, because the stock is not going to go up in a hurry. And on the upside, I would say now 270, 280, that should act as an immediate level of resistance for this particular stock. So I would say rather one should stay away from this stock till the stock consolidates and forms a bottom.
Okay, there's more weakness for Motherson Sumi in store. That's what our experts are saying. But I'm going to take a few queries now. And we have Red Bear on YouTube. His question is, can Hindustan Unilever be shorted for intraday? It is testing its 200 period average on 5-minute bar from below. I am not exactly privy to this this technical language that the Red Bear has used, but that said, I'm going to put it back to you, Amar. HUL is currently trading at about 1637, and well, it is seeing a little bit of an up move. Can it be shorted on an intraday basis with the kind of variables that the gentleman has mentioned?
I would say that looking at Hindustan Unilever, what we are seeing is that this stock is forming a bottom, because the stock has corrected from almost, if you look at it, almost from 1800 levels and currently around 1633, 34 levels. So the stock is also displaying bullish divergence on the daily charts, and even on the weekly and the long-term charts, I would say it has taken extremely strong support. So I would not suggest that he should short at these levels. Because the stock could trade higher if it trades consistently above 1655, 1660 levels. Then the stock could trade towards 1670, 1680 levels.
Okay, a viewer wants his view on GSFC. He has purchased 2 lots of GSFC, and that also the October series at 110. He wants to know whether he should hold on or whether he should exit. Let's pull up GSFC futures. If we can have the October futures, it's trading 4 rupees lower than what he bought it at. Amar, what should one do on GSFC? Should our viewer exit or hold? He's down 4 rupees. He has 2 lots.
I would say that currently he can hold on to his position because it seems that the worst is over for GSFC. Only what he needs to keep in mind is that from a short-term perspective, 107.2 is an immediate level of resistance. If that is taken out, then it can head higher towards 109, 110 levels. So that could be a level wherein he can exit. The stop loss that he can keep is at 103.80.
All right. Well, we'll move on to the next one. On Facebook, we have Tyagraj Shetty. He says that he holds the 11,300 call September series. He has not mentioned the entry level, but at this point in time, well, it seems that if he had bought this call a little earlier, he is likely to have made a loss considering the pressure under which the Nifty is at, currently trading at 17. Chandan, you know, he's not given us his entry point, but his question is, should I hold or exit? Would you recommend he exit his position considering he would have bought this sometime in the past few days?
See, 11,300 call is now trading at around 18-19 rupees. And as of now, the market is finding hurdle on medium-term point of view near to 11,333 level, while immediate hurdle at 11,171. So first hurdle will be 11,171. If surpasses, then only the movement of 100 points could be seen. But again, as of now, it doesn't seem that 11,333 could surpass on immediate basis in this 3 trading session, being the expiry week. So my suggestion is try to reduce the position of bounce back move if it comes near to around 25, 28, 30 kind of rupees. Because as of now the structure is weak and bounce back could again attract the selling pressure in the market. So that will be the strategy to exit on bounce back move in the counter.
Okay, one stock I want to point out is Vedanta. Vedanta has managed to buck the trend. It's up almost 3% in a rather weak market. Chandan, any view on Vedanta? What should one do?
Yes, we have positive view on the most of the metal counter. Earlier, what we have observed that metal used to the underperformer when Nifty or the broader indices falls. But this time when broader market is falling by 300, 400 points, we have not seen major selling in the metal counter, which clearly indicates some inherent strength in most of these stocks. If I talk about the Nifty metal index, that also given a major breakout from its falling channel and supports are gradually shifting higher. We have seen the formation of higher tops, higher bottom formation, and this is also respecting to its 50-day exponential moving average. So because of that, overall positional positive view on the most of the metal counter. Now talking about the Vedanta on immediate basis, the stock has seen built up of long position by around 3-4%. We started to witness call unwinding and call writing is shifting at higher strike. So because of that, 231 would be support. Upside it can move towards 242, 245 levels.
Okay, that's the view on Vedanta. We have Rajan Kapoor on YouTube. He wants to get an idea on what to do with Diwan Housing Finance. What Rajan Kapoor has done is that he has bought the DHFL 440 call and he has sold 2 lots of the 500 call. Of course, it's currently trading at about 404. I reckon that Rajan is playing for a small up move in the Diwan Housing Finance, but considering he's also sold 2 lots of the 500 call, he's not overly bullish. So with that, Amar, if I can come to you on this one, what would you advise when it comes to this strategy? It's already been implemented by Rajan. What levels would you ask him to watch out for? I know it's a tough one considering Diwan Housing has seen a lot of volatility, but your take on this one.
Yeah, looking at Diwan, the sort of fall that we witnessed on Friday, and today the stock has witnessed a pullback and also some clarification coming in. So the stock is likely to trade volatile because after the sharp downfall, the stock is witnessing some upside. But again, on the higher side, I would say that 435, 425 to 430, that's a level of resistance where the stock could rally towards. Whereas on the downside, today's low is something which is very crucial. So 385. So this is a level one should watch out for, and based on that, he should exit his strategy.
Pranav has written in, do you feel that pharma can have a rally going ahead? Amar, if you can take this one. Any pharma stocks that you like at this point of time?
The pharma stocks, Divi's lab is something one can look at because if we look at Divi's lab, what we are seeing is that technically this among the pharma counter, this is one of the strongest. It did witness a sharp correction, but again it pulled back and it's currently around 1400 odd levels. And technically it's very strong on the charts, but only a dip towards, because it is forming some very strong support zone around 1350, 1360. So ideally any correction towards 1370 levels, it's currently on 1395, 1370 levels could be a good level to buy with a stop loss below 1340 and a target of 1425 on the upside.
All right. Okay, I think we have time to take just one more. So we have on Twitter from Rakesh Botadkar. I'm wondering what experts are saying for Tata Steel futures for this expiry. Chandan, okay, I'll go to Chandan on this one. Let's pull up Tata Steel and see what it's doing. Of course, it's in the news right now, or on account of Usha Martin. It's declining marginally at around 621. And the September futures also there, very little change in OI. Chandan, how are you viewing Tata Steel with the expiry in view?
See, as mentioned, that couple of metal counter or entire metal sector is comparatively witnessing buying interest and supports are being respected. Tata Steel has been moving in a rising channel and respecting to swiftly exponential moving average. However, we have seen the strong surge in the Vedanta and slow and steady some up move could be seen in Tata Steel. However, there are some news in the company regarding some buying of the other companies and all. So, but overall, the trend is intact to positive as of now. 610 is support. Upside, it can move towards 630 to 635 zone.
Okay, well, there you have it. But unfortunately, we've run out of time. So I'm going to thank both our experts, Amar as well as Chandan, for joining us and taking us through their views as well as solving some of your queries. And with that, it's a wrap in this edition of the F&O Show. But for more news and updates, stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint Live.